Hello friends of WildRift and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video. For today we're going to take a look at the new patch 4.0 and it's going to be a wild one. But before we hop into it, let's talk about our question of the day. What do you expect from patch 4.0? Any ideas, any hopes, anything, like literally anything, let me know in the comments below. Now let's move over to the actual patch. Riot even gave us an introductory statement. First, a quick heads up. The new year brings new patch numbers, so we are dropping that boring old 3 and bringing out that shiny new 4.0. That being said, our content cadence isn't based on an annual cycle, so that new number isn't tied to huge changes. That's because any patch for WildRift can bring pretty major changes, not just the one in January. We changed a huge aspect of the game a few patches ago with Elemental Rift, and we have some adjustments for this patch that are sure to shift the meta. In short, don't get anchored on that 4.0, we're going to bring gameplay changes when they are ready. Anyway, this patch we are looking forward to some excitable champions improvement for yet another role, or even more things to test in the jungle. Of course, we'll also go over our next big event and the skins so you can look forward to. Welcome to WildRift patch 4.0 Rising Spark. For champions, we get 2 new ones, Zeri the Aspect of Twilight and Zeri the Spark of Zaun. Let's start with Zeri. Zeri is a burst mage who wants to steal spells, snipe enemies and cause as much trouble as possible with her portals. The first ability, Paddle Star, throws a missile that can be redirected in flight. The farther it travels, the more damage it deals. So on your first cast, it will fly away from your enemy and press your second cast to sling it toward them. This works super well with the ultimate portal jump, which allows Zeri to blink to a new position, and then blink back. This ult has a low cooldown, so get creative with Paddle Stars to delete your enemies from existence. With her second ability Spell Thief, Zeri can steal enemy spells and enchantments on cast, which will appear on the ground for her to pick up. They'll also drop when your team last hits a minion that's holding a balloon. She can only hold up 1 stolen cast at once, so use them or lose them. Last but not least, Zeri's third ability launches a bubble that puts an enemy to sleep after a delay. Attacking them will deal double damage up to a cap, so snipe your snoozing foes with a long-range Paddle Star for maximum effect. The next champion we get is Zeri the Spark of Zaun. Like most marksmen, the majority of Zeri's damage comes from attacking enemies, but her attack burst fire works a little differently than you might expect. When you tap the attack button as Zeri, you'll fire in a direction and damage the enemy first hit, just like a skill shot ability, so be sure to be aiming as you go. Zeri passively gains movement speed whenever she gets a shield, and she also has some tools to slow her opponents down. Her first ability Electrocute zaps an enemy with a slow, and her second ability Ultra Shock Laser fires a beam that damages and slows the first target hit. If the beam hits a wall, it will extend its range and fire through it, applying its effect in an area. Zeri's third ability, Spark Surge, is a tool for great escapes. Cast it to dash forward and empower your next attacks. If Zeri dashes to a wall, she'll jump all the way over it. Use her ultimate Lightning Crash to shock nearby enemies and gain stacks of overcharge for each champion hit. While overcharged, Zeri gains movement speed, attack speed and bonus damage. Her attack is also faster and chains to nearby enemies, and she'll extend this effect with takedowns. Looking forward for those champions? Me too. Now that we are done with the new champions, let's go over to the gameplay changes. Inhibitors. Another note from Riot, please note, the changes to inhibitors and turrets won't be live during the initial 4.0 patch, but you can expect to see them in one of the following balance patches during the update. First, we're adding inhibitor respawns, so once an inner turret is destroyed, an inhibitor will respawn after a certain period of time at the place where the inner turret was destroyed. This way the game won't feel totally over if you lose an inhib early, and you'll be able to focus more on facing off against the enemy team and less on minions. For turrets, it's a bit different. Continuing with the theme of climactic game ends, we're adding a mechanic that limits turtling under turrets forever. Once you reach the super late game, towers will begin to burn and eventually collapse. While we don't expect this effect to trigger frequently, we want players to feel the urgency of pushing their advantages or coming back from disadvantages through teamfights instead of prolonging periods of waiting and farming up. Hello, we got item updates, in specific, tank updates. Tank items provide a ton of utility, but their effects are often subtle, so it's difficult for you and your team to notice when you're using them well. So first, we've got some new and improved shopkeeper stock just for you. Boris loves you. New item, DAWNSHROUD. If you're more of an aggressive tank support that wants to get ahead through laning, DAWNSHROUD is your item of choice. When you immobilize a champion, DAWNSHROUD's passive will damage and reveal nearby enemy champs. This effect will also trigger if you are immobilized. Next item is Randuin's Omen. Randuin's Omen is getting a new passive. When you are hit by a critical strike, you'll gain stacks, attacking an enemy champion to consume the stacks and heal based on the damage you took. This is replacing one of the old item's passives, which reduced the damage taken from all critical strikes. Starting this patch, you'll need to attack to make full use of your damage reduction instead of passively gaining it, which will reward good decision making as a tank. Next item is Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart's effect is changing. Now basic attacks and spells will apply stacks to your target. They'll also gain stacks from attacking or dealing magic damage to you and your allies. Each one will slow your enemy's attack speed up to a cap. We hope that with a stacking debuff instead of an effect with constant uptime, Frozen Heart's impact will be more noticeable overall. Oh man, and we're getting ARURF back, all random ultra rapid fire mode. For the Rising Spark patch, we are bringing back the game mode we all know and love. All random ultra rapid fire is making its triumphant return to the Rift. Queue up and play a completely random champion with super speedy spells. And in the same time, or at the same time, we get a new mechanic added to the game to just test during this phase. It's called Execute Smite. We're also using this game mode to test something new. In this patch we're introducing Execute Smite just for RIOT'S matches. When a champion select, players will have 2 spells other than Smite and will select Execute Smite via a toggle in the spell selection screen. When you damage a monster and cause its health to fall below Smite's total damage, the spell will automatically trigger, effectively smiting the camp for you. There's no cooldown for this effect, so don't worry about accidentally wasting Smite and blue buff when you're meant to use it on Dragon. There's plenty of Execute Smites to go around. We know this sounds like a pretty wild change, and the final version of Execute Smite might end up being a little bit different depending on where our playstyles land, but we'll have more exact details ready for you in the patch notes. So if you're an ARURF enjoying jungle main, keep an eye out. And how could we ever receive a patch without quality of life changes? As always, we're looking into improving the WildRift experience both in and out of the game. Here's a few quality of life bumps we've got for the Rising Spark patch. ARAM titles. ARAM titles have been around for quite a while now. We'll be adding sub-tiers to some of those titles, so it's easier to track your climb. If you are a Master of the Abyss, we're excited to give you some of the new milestones to show off. Role Leaderboard. You think you're the best mid lane on your friends list? Well, this patch you can actually prove it. We're adding a role leaderboard where you'll be able to compare your role score with your friends. You'll also be able to see the top players for each role in your region. The best of the best will receive a special title. Role scores. We're also adjusting how role scores work as a whole. At the start of a new ranked season, your role scores will be reset. But you'll gain a boost for role score gains in the future based on your performance last season, so you can try and reach even greater heights in your quest for lane dominance. Ranked Season 8. Ranked Season 8 is here and glorious Crimson NAMI is ready to make some waves. Play ranked games to claim her from the Ranked Season Rewards tab. And don't forget, you can pick her up with an augmented weapon upgrade from the Ranked store. Best of luck on the ladder, and may your victory points rise like the tide. We'll also be getting a new Wild Pass. A new masked villain is ready to take the city by a storm. Along with any valuables he can lay his hands on, heroes beware. Supervillain Graves is ready to lie, cheat and steal his way into the end of the Wild Pass Season 8, and look cool while doing it. So be sure to plunder his ascended skin from the Wild Pass Emporium before he sneaks away. In terms of events, this patch is bringing plenty of good luck and festivities. Lunar New Year is coming and we've got some surprises in store for our event. First we have the Lunar New Year. Get ready to explore a world inspired by paper cutting art where you'll get to know a few different champions and help them enjoy the celebration. The New Year is a busy time, so you'll have to group up to grab everything you need. But that's all we can say for now. Just make sure you're ready to cook up some fun. For the project event, we're also bringing back a futuristic theme that many of you will recognize. If high-tech cyberpunk energy is your speed, Project Surge is ready to initiate in patch 4.0. Your directive is clear, so prepare for new skins and new rewards when this event commences. And for those skins we have Mythmaker Caitlyn, Mythmaker Zoe, Zeri, Gwen, and the Caitlyn Special Edition. Dragon Fist, Lee Sin, Firecracker Vayne, Project Lucian, Master Yi, Renekton and Zeri, Battle Academia Leona and Battle Principal Yuumi. And that's for today's video. Thank you all for watching, and if you want more Rift Guides content, make sure to come back for more. See you soon.